16-year-old German midfielder has managed to have Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Liverpool, all of the top clubs paying attention. And the mad thing is, this isn't a winger scoring 30 goals in academy football. This isn't some YouTube skilled merchant doing stepovers against kids his own age. Guys, this is a defensive midfielder, a number 6 at 16 years of age, playing senior football for Hertha Berlin, breaking records in Germany, and now being spoken about like one of the most exciting midfield talents in Europe. So naturally, the obvious question is, who on earth is Kennet Eichhorn? And why are clubs like Liverpool so interested? Because when you watch him, you will start to understand something very quickly. This isn't just about the hype. This ain't about the profile. It's about the maturity. This is about a young midfielder who already plays like he understands the game quicker than players much older than him. And for Liverpool fans, especially, this video you might want to be interested in. Stay tuned. So, Kennet Eichhorn was born July 2009 in Germany. Wow, that actually makes me feel really, really old. He's only 16 years of age, as I mentioned before, plays mainly as a defensive midfielder, and he has been with Hertha Berlin since the under-9s. Just think about that for a second. This is not a player Hertha randomly picked up last year. This is a player they've been developing for years. And now he's already playing senior football. It took him 7 years from under-9s. That's absolutely crazy. This season, Eichhorn has made 20 appearances in all competitions for Hertha Berlin, scoring twice. But the records are what make this story even crazier. He became the youngest player in Bundesliga 2 history. Then he became the youngest starter in Bundesliga 2 history. And then, against Hertha Berlin, he became the youngest goal scorer in Bundesliga history. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not normal. This guy has been breaking records. Most 16-year-olds are still trying to dominate under 18s football. Eichhorn is already playing grown man football in Germany's second tier, and he is not just surviving, he is definitely standing out. So now let's get to the part that really matters, because it's very easy to hear 16-year-old Wonderkid and instantly assume he is some flashy attacking midfielder. But Eichhorn is different. As I mentioned before, defensive midfielder, and that makes his profile even more fascinating. When you look at his heat map, you can immediately see the role he plays. Covers central areas, he drops deep, he helps connect the defense to midfield, he moves across the pitch to protect spaces, and he is constantly involved in the dirty work. This is not a player hiding from responsibility. At 16, he's already being trusted in one of the hardest positions on the pitch, and that is what makes him so interesting, because playing as a number 6 is not just about talent. You've got to have awareness. It's about discipline. It's about knowing when to hold position, when to press, when to cover, when to receive under pressure, and when to move the ball quickly. And when you watch Eichhorn, the first thing that stands out is just how calm he is. Some young players, they look a little bit desperate to impress. They force everything, especially when they're young. They run everywhere. They try to prove they belong. Eichhorn does not really play like that for Hertha Berlin. He plays with a level of patience. He scans, he waits, he positions himself very well. When the ball comes into midfield, he usually knows what he wants to do before he receives it. That is such an important trait for a holding midfielder, because the best number 6s out there in the world, they don't just react, they read the game, as we know. And Eichhorn already looks like someone who reads danger very well. His biggest strength right now is probably his ball winning and interception, who scored list ball interception as one of his main strengths, and you can kind of see why. He has a good sense of where the pass is going, he steps into lanes, he cuts off attacks before they become dangerous, and because he has that frame, that height, and that physical base, he already looks comfortable competing against senior players. Now, obviously, he is not the finished article physically. He's only 16 years of age, but the raw ingredients are there. The height, the legs, the defensive instincts, the willingness to compete. And this is exactly why clubs like Liverpool would be watching, because Liverpool's midfield has as we know, has kind of changed over the last few years. We need more athleticism, more defensive coverage, more players who can win the ball back and help control transitions. And Eichhorn has the type of profile that makes sense for a modern Liverpool midfielder, especially with the new manager, Iraola. He's not just a destroyer. He's not just someone who runs around and tackles people. He can receive the ball, he can turn out pressure, he can carry it forward, and he has the confidence to play through the midfield. Now, this is where we do have to be a little bit balanced because his passing is not perfect. Some scouting reports and data sites, they kind of point to passing as an area that still needs work. And honestly, for me, that's kind of normal. He's still young. He's still 16 years of age. There's going to be rush passes, loose touches, and moments where he might choose the wrong option. So decision making might be something that you could potentially look at. But I like his intention. He wants to play forward. He wants to progress the ball. He wants to be involved. And that to me is a big difference because you can coach a young midfielder to make better decisions, but you can't always coach bravery. And Eichhorn has that bravery. He will take the ball under pressure. He will get involved in duels. He will step into midfield battles. And he does not look like someone who is scared of the occasion. That's why this is not just a stats video. This is, for me, more of a projection video. Clubs are not looking at Eichhorn because he is already one of the best midfielders in Europe. Of course, he's nowhere near. They're looking at him because the profile is rare. At 16 years of age, defensive midfielder, already playing senior football, already physically developed, already reading the game well, already breaking records, and already showing signs of being able to control central spaces. That is why Liverpool want him. That is why Bayern want him. That is why Dortmund, City, and others have been linked. Because if his development continues, you're not just looking at a good young midfielder, you might be looking at the future elite number 6. So, in reality, should Liverpool be interested in Eichhorn? I would say yes, but they're going to need patience. This isn't a player you sign and expect to obviously start Premier League games. And of course, they can't sign him until he is a teen. He is a player that still needs development. He needs the right pathway. He needs minutes. And he needs a club that will not rush him just because the hype is getting loud. If Liverpool are looking at this properly, and I can understand why. Eichhorn feels like the type of signing smart clubs make before everybody else fully wakes up. Defensive midfielder with size, ball-winning ability, composure, senior experience, and record-breaking history at 16 years of age. That is rare, very, very rare. And maybe the most important thing here is not just that Liverpool want him, it's more why that they want him, because this feels like Liverpool trying to get ahead of the market. We know what Liverpool been used to over the years, signing the likes of a Mane, of a Salah, of a Firmino, before other clubs really took notice of them, trying to find the next elite midfield profile before he becomes impossible to buy. So I'm not saying Eichhorn is guaranteed to become a superstar, because football don't work like that. For every Wonderkid who makes it, there are dozens who don't. The 16-year-old defensive midfielder is already breaking records in Germany, already playing senior football, and already attracting some of the biggest clubs in Europe. I'm telling you now, that should probably grab your attention just a little bit. So remember the name, Kennet Eichhorn, because if Liverpool are right about him, this will not be the last time that I do a video on him. But let me know in the comment section, would you guys take Kennet Eichhorn? Have you seen much of him? Do you think he is the next big talent coming out of Germany? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Stay blessed, keep the same energy, and I'll catch you guys real soon. Peace!